As a youngin', do it all for the G. I'm holding conversations, tapping the mental. We tryna build like a king. Sit down with Gconnet, gotta think. While spitting the game with bees, I gotta shout out today. As a youngin', do it all for the G. I'm holding conversations, tapping the mental. We tryna build like a king. Sit.
I really enjoy being tapped in with you, B.
Hey, likewise, loved one.
It's always it's like, you know how when your cell phone be on low battery and you gotta plug that motherfucker up, or that shit gonna cut off on your ass when you don't need it to. That's how I be feeling until I plug back in and shit. That's where I get my energy. You know, you recharge your batteries and shit when you at the panel of real shit. You're around bullshit, it kind of draws your fucking energy away, drains your energy. You gotta be back around the energy source and shit, you know?
Yeah. Right. That's real talk. Right.
It's enough fuckery going on where motherfuckers, all the solid motherfuckers, it don't matter what your GPS location is or you know, what your sandbox partners look like or none of that, if they all snag a tooth or they all, but the fucking don't matter. Real got to stay real because it's enough phony, fugazi ass, fictitious shit going on already.
Yeah,
we got to keep it always solid.
I seen a post today, dog, and it wasn't even to me, it was somebody else, but nigga asked, nigga, how many real friends, how many 20-year or plus friends you got on your list right now that know you 20 years? Nigga, there ain't a lot of niggas to say that, bro.
Right. You're right about that.
I can for sure count two. I mean, no disrespect to the guy next to me. We working on ours.
Right.
I'm sure he got some. But nigga, I know you way over 20 years, my nigga. You feel me? And it's authentic, my nigga. Our friendships are authentic, you know, with niggas like that. So if you ain't got that, if you a grown ass man in your 40s, and ain't got a motherfucker you can call that you've been knowing for 20 years, no matter how you met them, and they got nothing but good things to say about you, then, nigga, something wrong with you, bro.
Hey, speaking of good things to say, hey, the whole reason we're here is to, you know what I'm saying, say rest well to the homie Redrum, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And Bronco tapped in with us, you know what I'm saying, here at Gconnet. And I want to know, like, tell us how your first encounter with Rum.
My first encounter with Redrum was when they was when the city was getting ready to do the Bangin' on Wax projects, and it kind of came through the airways, like through niggas' phones. Motherfucker call your phone and you might be sitting in a room, you know, with the homies or, you know, at the spot or wherever y'all at hanging and shit. One nigga get a call through his phone and it's ringing on his phone, but the call is really for a couple of other motherfuckers in the room, including him. And that's how the phone call went for us to meet up with Tweety and Ronnie Phillips and, you know, Big Y and Lil Stretch. If it wasn't for Lil Stretch and from Hunters and, you know, motherfuckers that we're connected to and shit like that, we probably never would have met because Freeze, rest in peace from the Franklins, was living next door to the Lil Stretch and them. They grew up together too. And so when the memo came out, when the memo went through the wire about the Bangin' on Wax projects and shit like that, for all of us who knew we was rapping and had flows and shit, we was kind of inquisitive about it. So I didn't really fuck with the first Bangin' on Wax project because I really didn't know, you know, left or right, heads or tails, how it was going to turn out. Is this a suicide mission or, you know, and I'm very observant with that type of shit. So I kind of just played the background and just observed and watched what was going on to see if I wanted to participate in some shit like that, if they had a part two or something. So me and Ron, we met at the studio, and I actually met him and Big Y and Brazy, Lil Hawk, and a few other of my Red Rag brothers and stuff. We met at the studio when it was time to get acquainted and meet, and for Ronnie and them to pick who it was out of the guys that rap, who it was that was going to be on the Damu Riders or on the, you know, Rip Riders or whatever. And at that time, it wasn't a Damu Riders or a Rip Rider thing. It was just Bangin' on Wax. So it was Bangin' on Wax too, and then all of us had these different ideas and shit like that. And me and Ron's ideas kind of resonated and was kind of like we was nodding at each other from across the room like, yeah, what he said. But when I first met him, it was like I met a cousin that I had been being told about by my moms and my pops and my other cousins, but I hadn't met him yet. So I was looking forward to meeting him, as well as he told me he was looking forward to meet me. But it was that kind of embrace. It was like we was already related, blood related. Like we got the same grandmama and granddaddy type, and it was never anything other than that. And it was the same with Lil Hawk and Big Y and my other brothers like Brazy and shit. Like kind of like how me and you is, Bill. It was just it was never no type of it was never no red and blue that would have divided us in no kind of way, because we didn't look at each other like that. It was always love from day one. Anytime I called him, he would answer the phone, and if he couldn't, he'd text me and let me know he was busy doing something, but he would always get back to me. If I needed any advice on anything as far as music, or if he had knowledge of some things that I didn't have knowledge of, he wouldn't hesitate to share his smarts with me and game me up and make sure that my brain was just as big as it needed to be to tackle that thing that I was dealing with. So I have a profound amount of respect and admiration and love for, for my brother Red Rum. He was one of a kind. There would never be another like him.
Hey, I've the short time that I've known, or that I can say that I've known Rum, the couple times that I've talked to him, he seems to be like a funny guy too. Always with some jokes here or there.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a very, he had humor like him off. He was very humorous and shit, but not to be taken as a joke.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he wasn't no funny nigga like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get that straight.
He can find the humor in things. He can find the humor in things and make you think too. Yeah, he can find it. He was that type of person to me.
Here we go. We got
hey, you got a time you could share that he was like, man.
He gave you a chuckle.
Yeah.
He called you out on.
Hell yeah.
I got a few of them.
Let me hear it.
It's funny. Because, we was, Rum had moved from Inglewood. He had moved to Watts. He had moved to the Nick. And we had been talking and chopping it up here and there over the phone. We would talk. We was always acquainted. So we might talk maybe twice a month or something like that. And then twice a month turned into 3 or 4 times a month and a couple. Now we talking every week and shit like that. But we had met at the WLCAC. And it's on Central. In between 108th and the tracks right there, when you're going over the tracks towards Imperial by Verban Day and all that. WLCAC is like the Watts,
on Central, right?
Yeah, right there. So they was having some kind of festival or a carnival or something there for just the residents of Watts and stuff like that. It may have been like the 50th or the 60th annual recognition of the Watts Towers or something. Like it was a banquet of some sort like that. And so I went, and it's on the red side of the tracks, as far as in our city of Watts go, but all of us pretty much are familiar and acquainted with each other, whether it's junior high, elementary, or by happenstance, the parks, the swimming pools, or something. So the Bloods and the Crips and Watts, you know who you know, and you don't know who you don't know, but you know enough about who you know to go where you need to go without it being hair on your head missing when you get back, if you get back type shit. So when we went up there, the first person I see is my brother Rum. Rum see me and start laughing. I knew my nigga was coming. Well, we giggled like a motherfucker. So we standing there talking, and a couple of big girls walk by, and sisters and all that. And he like, Bronc, you smell that ass? Then I looked at him.
Yeah, Rum always had a big girl joke, and he loved him some big That nigga loved him some big girls.
This nigga was so fucking stupid, man. God damn, I swear. Had me cracking up. I'm talking about tears coming out my eyes, y'all. This nigga Ron was cold with that shit. I'm like, smell what? I'm thinking he talking about a fart or a poop or some shit. He's like, no, the big girl smell like a steak sandwich. They must have just came from a Philly cheesesteak. So I'm like, this nigga really, you should have been if you wasn't gonna rap, you should have been a comedian, dog. Cause you funny as a motherfucker, my nigga. On regular terms, you funny.
Hey, I can honestly tell you, Red Rum is the only nigga that I can honestly say in my friends list that can, I ain't gonna say disrespectful, but can bag on anybody in my circle and it not be offensive, from my wife to my sister to my kids to my, you know what I'm saying? That nigga right there can say some shit that'll have everybody dying, including the person that he's talking to.
Yeah, my first time he said something to my wife.
Not only that, he'll tear into the homies. He'll tear into your section of friends too. He ain't shy about no jokes.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. He ain't got no problem letting you know who he fuck with and how he feel about whatever, and you take it how you want to take it, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be me.
Yeah.
With D and G2Bs, a generation conversation. If you ain't got the patience, you don't.